Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to another episode. Thanks for tuning in to the AI Guide where we're making AI human. And we're going to try something a little different today because this video that I'm going to review hits the high points of everything that we talk about and that we're trying to do here on the AI Guide to prepare you for a highly automated future. So let's jump into it. You can see that it starts out at White Castle in Mokina, Illinois. And here we go.
Castle, this is Brittany. How may I help you?
This robot named Flippy runs the fry station at a White Castle outside of Chicago. With its mechanical arm and using computer vision technology, Flippy can cook everything from French fries and onion rings to cheese sticks.
So we've talked about Flippy on this channel, and this is not a super advanced robot in the sense of it's nothing like one of the Boston Dynamics robots or anything, but it does use AI, right? That's what computer vision is. Computer vision is visual AI. So let's keep checking this out.
White Castle said it plans to add 100 Flippies to its kitchens nationwide.
So this is real, this is already happening, and it's going to continue happening nationwide for White Castle and soon other chains.
We used to need 2 people to operate that French fry area during peak hours, and now we are able to only have 1 person operating that area.
So here we go. They don't even try to disguise what the real agenda is here. Downsizing of people, and there's a reason for that. This fry station is a hard job. It's low paid, it's minimum wage, and it's very fast paced, and they have a lot of trouble keeping people to do this job. So they need to find a steady way to do this job.
Would you like to try the mac and cheese bites today? All right, thank you. If the screen's correct, it is 827. Second window, please.
Fast food jobs are demanding, quick moving, and sometimes even dangerous. But not for robots.
When you look at the restaurant industry, it's a little bit late to the party in adopting automation and robotics in particular.
So sorry to jump in. That was the CEO of Miso Robotics, as you saw. And he's saying that restaurants are behind other industries in automation. We know that the auto industry, particularly Tesla, but all auto manufacturing plants are well into automation. And at big companies, they are generally into the automation phase now. Not so much small and mid-sized companies, which we talked about in a video last week or the week before.
Restaurants that are using them or trying them out say that this automation really only has to do with helping relieve boring tasks from workers' plates, help make their jobs easier, let them engage with the customers more. But there's a lot of reports out there kind of guesstimating how many jobs could be replaced by these robots, by automation.
Up to 82% of restaurant positions could to some extent be replaced by robots.
Boom! There it is. 82% of restaurant jobs are expected to be automated by robots. And this is why I've been saying on this channel for a while, in the not too distant future at all, you will go into places like Starbucks. Now, that's a corporate decision by Starbucks, right? And it may not be consistent with the image that they want to portray, but it might be Dunkin' Donuts, where you are giving your order to a robot, the robot picks it, delivers it, and charges you without you having to give a card or anything. It's like one of the new Amazon markets where you don't pay them by getting your card out and putting it into a machine. They see what you pick up and charge you.
Automation could save U.S. fast food restaurants over $12 billion in annual wages.
Now we get to the real rub, right? 12 billion savings in wages. Now that's wages only. Benefits if the company offers benefits, which they didn't until recently when it got so difficult for them to find people to work these jobs that they started increasing pay and offering benefits. But the benefits is 25% more than the wages. So if you take that into account, that's another $3 billion. That's $15 billion more profit to the restaurant industry. Do you think they're going to use robots? You decide.
And restaurants are also struggling to find workers. American restaurants are down more than 560,000 jobs, or about 4.6% of its workforce from their pre-pandemic levels. About a third of Americans work in a restaurant as their first job, and half have some restaurant work experience.
Yeah, the economics of this.
Yeah, here they go. The economics are very, very compelling to use robots to get away from a people shortage. Same is true with trucking, by the way. We've talked about that. And they'll say the rest of it in just a minute here.
Very, very compelling. They take minimum wage just around the $20,000 per year mark. That's the cost of one robot.
Boom! There you go. So for 1 year, now there will have to be maintenance, but for 1 year's pay of a person, they can replace that person with a robot. That is the point where companies start automating.
Other companies in this space include Picnic, that has a robot that makes pizza, and Autech, whose machines make sushi. So what impact will robots have on the fast food industry and the livelihood of its workers? CNBC got a behind-the-scenes look at restaurant robot maker Miso Robotics to find out. Miso Robotics got its start in 2016 with a handful of engineers in a Pasadena, California garage. 2 years later, the company launched Flippy at a nearby Caliburger restaurant. Flippy's first job was turning over a hamburger patty after it was placed on a grill by a human chef. But the company quickly pivoted to fried foods, rolling out a portable fryer station for baseball games at Dodger Stadium.
This was really the peak throughput test for us. Can Flippy keep up with in-between innings at a Dodger game and everybody goes to the concession stand? Can we meet that demand?
So what they did is, first of all, they spent 2 years designing an initial robot, Flippy flipping the hamburger. Then they found a better application for it that the customers were more interested in, which is fry station, their most difficult job physically and to staff. And then they tested it in an extremely demanding environment to make sure it could handle day-to-day work in one of these fast food restaurants.
In 2021, Miso launched Flippy 2, using a mounted rail system, AI, and computer vision technology that can identify and track food as it moves through the structure.
So again, I've said, and the reason we cover robots on this channel is that AI is what drives them. AI makes robots do the tasks that people will pay to, not people, companies will pay to automate.
Although it has a camera, tablet, and robotic arm, engineers say the real tech is in the software.
The hard thing to get right about this product is having the computer vision, the algorithms that plan the cook cycle, and the software that manages the robotic motion to all work together so that it's as reliable as a refrigerator and it does the job.
So the robot is basic, it's easy to do that. The AI is what's hard. And that's why it's taken until now for this to start to take off. The AI is the critical piece and the gating piece for the robot technology.
Food is dispensed directly from the freezer into a basket. The robot's computer vision identifies the type of food and places it in the appropriate fryer.
So they have different fryers for French fries versus onion rings versus other stuff.
Once the food is cooked, the basket is taken out of the fryer, shaken, and dumped into a holding area where it is bagged by a worker.
For those of us who have been in a restaurant, this is exactly the same process that is done today by a human.
He's constantly playing like a multi-frame game of chess in his mind, understanding where to be next, so his sequence of movements is precise and he doesn't undercook or overcook food.
But what about the cost? Miso charges restaurants about $3,500 a month for a Flippy 2 under its robot as a service model. The company charges an additional fee of about $10,000 for installation. By comparison, the median hourly wage of fast food workers in the U.S. is just $12.07 an hour. There were roughly 11.7 million restaurant workers in the U.S. in 2022.
So yeah, I live in the Northeast, and starting pay at McDonald's is now $16 an hour, not $12.07. And so in many parts of the United States, the economics are really different than this and already super compelling. $12.07 an hour, let's say it works out with benefits to $25,000 a year, and they're going to pay $42,000 a year for the robot. But once this robot really gets going completely, it will replace two people, like they said, two people on the fry station. Right now, it's more like a cobot that we talked about, where there's one person in the robot, but eventually it replaces two jobs. So then they're trading $50,000 for $42,000, which is where the real logic comes in.
But Flippy's 2 is different. Flippy 2 works around the clock. We have many 24-hour locations where Flippy 2 is installed. Flippy doesn't call in sick.
Built in Columbus, Ohio.
There you go. That was the piece I referred to a few minutes ago that was going to come up, that we've talked about here repeatedly on the AI Guide. No sick pay, no holidays, no vacation, no helping pay for the person's school, no benefits. This makes huge sense very, very quickly. You know what I'm going to say now. If you're in fast food, find another job as soon as possible.
Ohio. It takes Miso about 6 weeks to manufacture one Flippy 2. The current off-the-rack mechanical arm is the same type designed for car factories, and Miso says they cost $15,000 each, plus another $5,000 to modify with additional grippers and sensors. Last year, Miso partnered with robotic arm maker.
So they're paying $20,000 for one of these and renting it for $42,000 a year. That's a hell of a ROI.
Ally Robotics, and hopes to start producing its own arm in 2023. The company also makes a streamlined version of Flippy 2 called Flippy Lite, as well as a drinks dispenser named Sippy. Flippy Lite is currently being tested in restaurants by Chipotle.
And what Flippy Lite is...
So first they automate the fry station, which is the most difficult. Then they automate the drinks. Then they automate other food that's being prepared. And last but not least, we'll see the robots serving and taking orders.
Designed to do is to take one item that requires frying and just cook the heck out of it all day long.
With about 25,000 shareholders, Miso has so far raised more than $70 million in crowdfunding.
So crowdfunding, what does that mean? Instead of going to venture capital, what they did is get individual people on whatever website they use, that people put in money into the company. And the idea behind that is that eventually Miso Robotics gets sold for $1 billion or whatever it is. And as an investor, let's say you bought a share at $1 and you sell it for $5, you 5 times your investment. That's what's happening here.
The company's also announced it is testing a robot that fries chicken wings for Wing Zone.
What's up, Einstein?
So this is exactly how automation works, right? Automation starts out with one application, spreads to other applications in that same environment. Why? Because the customer of the robotics company knows, hey, the first one worked, which is the fry station. So I know these people know what they're doing. I'm going to automate my drink counter. Then I'm going to automate my other food. Then, like I said, eventually, whether it's Miso or another company, comes the service robots. And there's other companies doing that are way ahead of Miso on that one. I can do another video on some of those robots, but I mentioned to you that I saw in San Francisco at the AI conference in 2019 BC, before COVID, that this robot could talk to you and respond to requests that I saw. So I'm not going to finish this video because the video would then be too long, but you get the point. This hits all the high points that we hit, that automation is coming. It's coming rapidly. In some cases, it's already here. You have to be prepared for this. If you work in fast food, you need to be finding a different job as soon as possible. If you're a truck driver, you need to plan on not being a truck driver in 3 to 5 years, etc., etc. That's why I started the AI Guide, to prepare you for the human impact of these technologies that no one is going to stop. They're coming. And we've talked repeatedly about this too, but the jobs that will persist are jobs that require human contact, like nurses, like psychologists, or social workers, or home health aides. These are the jobs that will persist well into the future. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Please, in the comments, let me know what you think about doing this type of event in the future, yes or no, versus the videos I've been doing for almost 3 years now. Thanks so much. Take care. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.